Hi everyone, welcome back to the Code Bakery, and today we're going to be learning more about Flask. So what is Flask? Flask is a backend framework that you can use to incorporate a lot of logic. So let's take, for example, Google, right? We see the home page, but we know that is made up of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That is all on the front end. But on the back end, we have something like, let's say, how does Google manage our login information? How do they store our username and password? All of that is managed by the backend through frameworks like Flask. Another example on the JavaScript side would be Node.js, and there are many things you can do with backend. And so there are going to be a couple of projects that we're doing. So this is going to be the first project that we're making. So as you can see, it's saying my notes, a text area box, and then save. So these are a couple of notes I've written down. So I can write down notes, and actually I can do Flask series to just show you, and you can see it saves. I can write down something else like computer, loading, Python. As you can see, they're all saving. And even if I reload the page, so I'll take Control C, close this out, go here, and as you can see, everything is saved. So this is just going to be a very simple note-taking app. That's going to be the first demo, and then we're going to build upon this and we're going to build upon this to make an e-commerce website that I'm going to demo right now. So this is an example of a website that we can make with Flask. And so as you can see, it's welcome to an e-commerce site. What would you like to do? Add a product or buy a product? So let's say we want to add a product. However, we're first prompted with login information, and so we need to create an account that we can use to do everything. So we'll sign up for an account. Let's do Aryan. We'll do test@123.com, and password will be 123. So we'll simply sign up. Okay, the account has been created successfully. Now we'll do email was test@123.com, and we've logged in. So now you can see we've logged in as Aryan because we displayed our name. So now we can add a product that takes a form, and then we can submit it, or we can go to buy products, and we can see how there's already been listed a PS4 controller. So yeah, now we can, if we try and buy the product, we can add it to cart, and as you can see, it'll show us this. So this is a full project that we'll work on at the end. And as you can see, it shows one in the cart section. So yeah, this is a project that we're going to work on and try and build towards in the Flask series. And yeah, let's go back to the tutorial. So now you've seen some of the projects we're doing. Today, we're just going to start by setting everything up and getting a baseline on the Flask syntax. The first thing we need to do is import Flask. And if you don't have this done already, all you need to do is open up your terminal and then do pip install Flask, and that'll get you done. That'll get you there. Another important line we need to do is from Flask import asterisk. This is going to import all the libraries inside Flask, and so that'll just make sure that any syntax errors we have are already set up. So finally, the third line is going to be app equals capital F Flask, and then whatever name you want. For this example, I'll do Code Bakery Flask series. Now you've noticed that my Python file name is called server. You can name it whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. But I'm just doing server because that is how it's acting in reality. So now we're going to talk about routes. And so what do routes mean? Let me show you. The first thing we're going to write is .app.route. And then we're going to do parenthesis sign, and then in single quotes, we're going to do the route. So the first route that we always start off with is just going to be a /. This is going to be the home route. So basically, what happens is this is how you organize different pages of information. For example, when you go to YouTube, you just go to youtube.com. That sends you to the home page. Or in other words, this route right here. Let's say, for example, you wanted to go to a specific YouTuber's webpage. Then, if you click on their channel, and it takes you to youtube.com/ the YouTuber's name / etc. etc. These slashes are routes that tell the server where to go. And so we're essentially creating a framework that guides our server that, let's say the user goes to this route, what do we do? And so in Flask, each route is immediately followed by a function that's going to describe what we're going to do when a user visits this route. So in this case, we want to start out really simple, and all we want to do is just return render template and then home.html. Now let me explain this line of code. It's going to return render.template. This is a Flask specific syntax that is specific to rendering an HTML file. And so what we're going to want to do is when a user visits our home route, we just want to return an HTML file. Well, we haven't made the HTML file yet, so let's go do that. So what we want to do, and this is another Flask specific thing, is we want to make a folder, call it templates. And this is where we're going to store all of our HTML files. Inside of templates, we want to make a file called home.html as it matches the render template. Right now, we're not going to do anything fancy, just simpler boilerplate stuff. So what you want to do is in this empty home.html file, you want to do !tab. And then if you're using Visual Studio Code, that'll give you this simple boilerplate, which will give you all like the necessary things. As I said, we're just going to keep it really simple. So we'll just do an h1 and say this is our home page for our Flask series. And then we'll say Flask series just to show that it's working. So save that, save that. This is one route. Now all we have to do to run it is app.run debug equals true. Okay, so now we have everything running and it should be working, so let's run it. Alright, now we should be able to run it, so let's run the code. As you can see, let me bring it up. It says serving Flask project code bakery Flask series, that's our name. Then it shows restarting stack debugger active running on this link. This is our local link that's going to be running on. So if we control click, it'll show us, and now you can see this is opened up. This is our homepage for our Flask series. This is exactly what we wrote in our home. This is our homepage for our Flask series. Now, let's make another one of these routes, and let's call it login. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this example, this login route, and we're going to take information in Python and pass that onto the HTML page. This is showing the full stack capability where the front end is interacting with the back end and the back end is interacting with the front end. Let's say we had some sort of number, and let's say the number can be anything. So let's just do 1 plus 2, which is 3, obviously. And so what we want to do is we want to pass this number to login.html, which is going to be another HTML template that we create. We want to pass this number to this HTML document, and we want to show it in the HTML. So let's first create our login.html. Do the same thing, !tab, that's our simpler boilerplate. Now we'll do login page, and then this is the login page. And if you're wondering why I'm naming it login, it's because we're going to be using this, we're going to build on this template next time and create a notepad service where users will be able to log in, write down their thoughts, and that information will be saved in a MongoDB database. That's the project we're going to be doing, and then we're going to build upon that one even more and create an e-commerce site as I showed a couple before. So now this is the login page. That's going to show us that we got the login page. And now we're going to talk about how we can translate the number that we declared here and show it on the HTML page. Let's do an H2, and we're going to write this is the number that we got from Python. Okay, and now this is something very specific to Flask and HTML. There's a lot of syntax that we have to learn, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 curly braces followed by 2 curly braces. As you can see, they go in opposite directions, and in here we're going to put number, or you can put any variable. So let's say we'll do HTML number. Okay, so this is a variable name, and this is not going to show as HTML number. So what we need to do is instead of render template login.html, we need to add something. So we'll do comma, and we'll do HTML number is equal to number. We'll save that. We'll save that. And now, stop the code run. Oh, another thing that we make sure we change is that notice how these two functions are both named as index. This is going to cause an error. So we have to change this to something else. So now they're named as login. We'll run the code. All right, code is running. So as you can see, it's pretty normal. This is the home page. Now let's go to login, and there we go. This is the login page. This is the number that we got from Python 3. And so as you can see, we were able to successfully take a number that was just generated in Python, pass it over to login.html, and display it in the HTML page. Now, that's all for laying out the basic Flask format, and this is just a starting point that we're going to build off of in our later tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.